Welcome to Edison TV. We are delighted to be joined once again by the CFO and Deputy CEO of Halyk Bank, Murat Koshenov. Murat, welcome to Edison TV.
Hello, and thank you for having me.
So please explain to our viewers the role of Kazakhstan as the largest economy in Central Asia and as a gateway to China, Russia, Europe, and the Middle East.
Central Asia indeed has a strategic location. The Asian Silk Road plays a key role in facilitating trades and cultural interaction between the East and the West. Currently, we see a revival of the whole idea connecting East Asia, and particularly China, with Europe through the Central Asia. It started in the beginning of this century, when Kazakhstan emerged as a major exporter of oil, metals, and uranium. The idea of increasing the transit potential of Central Asia, and particularly Kazakhstan, was further supported by the Belt and Road infrastructure initiatives, as well as the most recent initiative of the Middle Corridor. Because of the global supply chain disruptions and current geopolitical uncertainty, we see that the Middle Corridor is rapidly becoming the new connecting points between China and Europe through Central Asia, and it's becoming the new alternative route. And we see that the developments of transit potential of the region would be helping to support the broader development and diversification of Kazakh economy.
In this context, could you provide perhaps some background on Halyk Bank's market position and its role in supporting the growth of the local economy?
Halyk Bank is the largest financial institution in Kazakhstan, and the market share across the major metric like total assets, net loans, and capital is around 30%. The Halyk Bank has more than 11.5 million retail clients, and we have more than 340,000 active SME clients, as well as we have 3,000 corporate clients. The bank is also present in Uzbekistan and Georgia through our 100 subsidiary banks, and we also have a joint venture with China City Bank through Alten Bank, where Halyk Bank holds 40% market share. Beyond core banking, the group operates as a diversified financial and non-financial ecosystem, which includes insurance, leasing, brokerage, asset management, and lifestyle. The bank provides nearly half of all real economy financing among all commercial banks in Kazakhstan. The majority of the country's largest taxpayers are our clients, which demonstrates the bank's deep integration into the national economic framework. Halyk also the largest transactional service provider in the country and processes the total transaction volume which exceeds the country's annual GDP.
Halyk Bank continues to operate in a high inflation, high interest rate environment. This supports the company's net interest margin, but also affects local appetite for credit as well as the credit quality of potential borrowers. How is Halyk Bank balancing these factors in its lending and decisions?
Of course, high inflation is impacting the disposable income of population, and high interest rates is limiting the credit demand from our corporate and SME clients. So this also leads to the situation when we provided a rather cautious approach for the loan growth for 2026, and we guided that our retail portfolio would grow between 8 and 10%, while the corporate SME portfolio would grow between 10 and 13%. At the same time, tight monetary policy, including the high base rates, high minimum reserve requirements, as well as fiscal discipline, is likely to lead the interest rate reduction in the second half of this year, which will typically considered as a supportive factor for net interest margin, as well as we hope will drive the credit demands later into this year.
Okay. Please tell us a little bit more about the developments across your digital ecosystem and how it drives client engagement and your fee commission income.
The group's digital infrastructure basically represented by two core platforms. One is for retail customers called Halyk Super App, and Halyk Online Bank for our SMEs and corporate clients. Halyk Super App demonstrated strong engagement growth with increase in monthly active users, which reached 8.5 million, as well as the daily active users, which increased to 3.2 million. And we see that transactional volumes also increased. The number of transactions increased by 23%, and the volume of transactions increased by 20% during last year. Digital adoption continues to deepen, and we see that roughly 94% of retail loans by number are issued digitally, as well as the digital deposits. We see that the payment capabilities are also increasing, and last year we launched innovative face-based solution. The platform combines financial and lifestyle services, driving the engagement and customer lifetime value through proprietary solutions like marketplace, travel, entertainment, GovTech, including the partnerships in e-gov, e-grocery, and e-pharmacy. The Soper app also integrates the solutions of our subsidiaries like insurance as well as the brokerage. And we continue to improve our lifestyles offering. Like last year, the bank introduced the integrated restaurant solution, which enables discovery, reservation, takeaway, and seamless QR payments across the full dining journey. Within its B2C customer value management strategy, the bank applies AI-powered next best offer and next best action tools with recommendation engine that personalize bank's proposition. And this drives the engagement higher and leads to higher cross-sell ratios. Halyk's online bank is a B2B digital platform which provides corporates and SME with integrated banking and non-banking business services and seamlessly connected to corporate ERP and CRM systems. The platform enables rapid onboarding, giving business seamless access to the ecosystem. It combines daily banking services with lending, deposits, factoring, and other financial services within one platform. It also offers business registration beyond financial services, the government technologies integrations, insurance, payroll. Altogether, there are more than 150 offerings on the platform. Online bank powers financial flows across the economy, from the government procurement, B2B and B2C trades, to the corporate lending and tax payments. The monthly active users of online bank reached almost 344,000 clients, and the daily active users reached almost 150,000 users. These strong engagements translate into solid transactional growth. The number of payments increased by 22%, while the volumes grew by nearly 30% during 2025. The platform continues to evolve through new client-focused services. One of the good examples is Online Dokken, which is a new in-house developed service which provides a full digital circle which connects distributors and convenience stores from ordering, payments, and supply accounting. This solution unlocks underserved micro-retail segments and connects thousands of convenience stores nationwide and expanding transactional flows across the ecosystem. Together, Halyk Soper app and online bank enhance cross-segment clients' engagement and retention, positioning the group as a core digital infrastructure which connects consumers and enterprise across the economy.
Can you please summarize your current dividend policy and any changes currently being contemplated?
Thank you for your question. The bank has a long history of dividend payments, and we have an uninterrupted flow of dividend payments for the last 8 years. Since 2024, we made dividend payments twice a year. And on the recent annual general shareholder meeting, the changes to the corporate charter were approved, which would allow dividend payments up to 4 times a year. And this opens possibility to corresponding change in the dividend policy in the near future. At the same time, in annualized terms, dividend payout would remain at 50% plus level, as well as the minimum Tier 1 capital level at 17%. This would ensure the bank has sufficient capital to support our further growth as well as strategic initiatives.
So how is the current war in the Middle East affecting the economy of Kazakhstan? On the one hand, the recent spike in oil price represents a positive first-order effect because Kazakhstan's oil exports are not affected by the Straits of Hormuz. On the other hand, it does add to existing inflationary pressures in the country.
According to Ministry of Finance, the export price of Kazakh CPC oil Brent reached $122 per barrel, which should substantially increase the budget collection in coming months. Also, we see that logistic disruption in the Middle East leads to price increase on some other goods and commodities which is produced by Kazakhstan, for example, fertilizers. At the same time, the inflationary pressure might be coming from two channels. One is imported goods, as well as potentially higher fiscal spending. So the National Bank and the government need to stay disciplined in order to limit any negative implications.
Murat, as always, a pleasure to have you on Edison TV. Thank you very much for giving us a good run through the issues in Kazakhstan and how Halyk Bank is performing. Thanks again for joining Edison TV.
Thank you and goodbye.